Hello and welcome along to episode 49 of the All Things Leeds podcast. The return of the All Things Leeds podcast as it is the first episode of the new year 2020. I'm NkGhTg and joining me as ever is my co-host Charles Foster. Hello.
Hello mate, you alright?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I just about recovered from the other day.
Yeah, the Arsenal game. Yeah, I've just about recovered as well. Just about. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, you know. Christmas is a lot of a bit of a strange time with the family in it. There's a lot of drinking, There's a lot of chatting with relatives you don't see that much, and then New Year's obviously a lot more drinking. I think there was a period between about 23rd and about the 2nd of January where I was drinking for about 9 straight days. It felt awful.
Yeah, a lot of drinking. A few arguments as well. Just some random arguments about nonsense as well.
My nan argues with me every year because I get too drunk at the pub on Christmas Day and fall asleep on the sofa.
It's always funny the Christmas time and the festive period. Always funny. It's always standard stuff as well. But you've had a good Christmas and New Year, which is good. And
good for you then.
Yeah, really good. Really good. Really, I have enjoyed myself, and hopefully everyone else who is watching or listening at the moment has also enjoyed some time off. If you don't celebrate Christmas, hope you've had a good time. If you do celebrate Christmas, hope you've had a fantastic Christmas, and Happy New Year to everyone. Feels good to be back. In the studio, and there is plenty to discuss. In this episode, we'll go over all 5 games that we've missed. That 2-1 loss at Fulham, 1-1 draw with Preston, 5-4 win at Birmingham, 1-0 draw at West Brom, and of course the 1-0 loss to Arsenal in the FA Cup on Monday night, which me and Charles were at, so we can go into that in great detail. We'll also look at how the Leeds United under-23s have done this week, as well as discussing some news that's come out of Elland Road. There's some good news and some sad news as well. Of course, it's January, which means that it's the January transfer window, and players have left Leeds, but players have also come back to Leeds, and there's of course plenty of transfer rumours, which we'll discuss before looking ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Sheffield Wednesday at Elland Road on Saturday in the Championship. Loads coming up here on the All Things Leeds podcast. Feels good to be back in the studio, back recording. Hopefully you guys have not missed us too much. If I was anyone listening, I probably wouldn't have missed us at all, really. There's a lot of Leeds content out there nowadays, so hopefully you've kept up to date with everything. Me and Charles are back in your airwaves. And yeah, it feels good to be back in the studio. And let's not waste any time, as there's loads to go over in this episode. So let's begin by covering the games that we have missed, starting with that 2-1 loss to Fulham away at Craven Cottage on Saturday the 21st of December. And Leeds played well here despite the scoreline, but we were hit with a major blow early on as Pablo Hernandez went off injured in the first couple of minutes with a hamstring problem. Bielsa has said in recent weeks that he could be back very soon, but a very big blow for Leeds United, this one, early on in a very big game it was.
Yeah, it was one of them games which we didn't really want to lose, because obviously the likes of Fulham and Brentford and Wednesday and Forest are all kind of pushing for us for that second spot. So we kind of wanted to keep them at arm's length. I mean, there's going to be plenty of boxing analogies during this podcast, I imagine. But that's really what it was. So yeah, it was a bit gutting that we lost Pablo so early on.
Yeah, and it changes your game plan, doesn't it, as well? When you lose such an influential player like Pablo Hernandez early on, it just changes your entire game.
Well, not just for this game, but for the whole Christmas period. Because there's a lot of games over the Christmas period, and when you lose your most creative player, it's a bit of a blow. Yeah,
and we could have certainly used him in a few of those games. Fulham went 1-0 up on 7 minutes through an Alexander Mitrovic penalty. Penalty which shouldn't have been given, though. Minimal contact there was from Ben White. Awful refereeing decision.
It kind of reminded me when we were this season, we were to Millwall as well. Once again in London with a refereeing decision where they just appear to give every team we're playing a 1-goal advantage straight off the bat.
Yeah, so we lose our most influential player and we go 1-0 down for a penalty which should have never been, because Ben White barely touched him. Disgraceful decision, and
I'm honestly
it was all against us.
The referee did not send him off also.
Yeah,
like I did in the Millwall game.
Yeah, it would not have surprised me if he actually did, to be honest. But Leeds equalised in the second half though through a well-worked goal with Patrick Bamford finishing on 54 minutes, but Fulham went 2-up on 69 minutes from a corner. Josh Onomah, the goal scorer there. Fulham win ended Leeds United's unbeaten run, an 11-game unbeaten run and a 7-game win streak as well. All good things must come to an end, I guess, and Fulham ended that. But at least we didn't have. I feel as though there was a big weight lifted off our shoulders. We didn't have the pressure of trying to keep the unbeaten run and win game going. Of course, it would have been nice, but I don't think anyone was expecting us to, thrash Fulham like we have done that we had done before in recent weeks leading up to that game. But yeah, all good things must come to an end, I guess. The next game after that was Thursday the 26th of December, Boxing Day, of course. Leeds drawing 1-1 with Preston North End at Elland Road. Now, Preston were on top for the first 20 minutes or so in this game.
We were really poor.
Really, really poor early on in this game. Took us a while to get going. Preston, of course, went 1-0 up on 22 minutes through Alan Brown on the counter-attack. A really poor goal to concede, really poor defending. It was 1-0 to Preston at half-time. Leeds started picking it up. NkGhTg came on and replaced Patrick Bamford on 64 minutes and changed the entire game for Leeds. And after many attempts, Leeds found the equaliser on 89 minutes with a fantastic strike from Stuart Dallas. Really good goal. Yeah, deflected, but it looked like a nice goal from where we were at the time. And
not the mic there. The Cookstown Cafe was saved as a few points this season already.
Yeah, he has.
digging out some goals, crucial goals.
And massive celebrations for 1-1 draw at home to Preston.
Yeah, but Preston at the time, I think, were 4th or 5th. They were in the playoff positions.
Yeah.
So it did kind of matter that we didn't lose.
And with the game, going the way that it did, it felt good to equalise.
And everyone else in the top 6 kind of drew or lost in that period as well. So the fact we still picked up, I think West Brom drew in that when we drew there, so it was all right because we kept the pace. And
it felt good to equalise because Preston, when they went 1-0 up, like they have done the past few games where they've gone ahead against us, they've just sat back and cheated the way to either victory or the draw. So it felt good to equalise, and Leeds earned a hard-fought point there. Then after that happened, the most mental game for Leeds United happened. The most mental game I think I've ever seen. Leeds United winning 5-4 away at Birmingham City on the 29th, Sunday the 29th of December. This was just absolutely crazy. Leeds were on top for the first 20-25 minutes or so, where we went 2-0 up. Helder Costa finished off a great counter-attack on 15 minutes to make it 1-0. A fantastic goal there. And then Jack Harrison's deflected shot made it 2-0 on 21 minutes. Birmingham pulled a goal back on 27 minutes through 16-year-old Jude Bellingham. Nice finisher, but a poor goal to concede. Yeah, he is a really good player. But a poor goal to concede on Leeds' behalf. Poor defending, really. I mean, it was 2-1 at half-time. I don't think anyone expected the second half that came about. So it was 2-2 on 61 minutes through Lukas Jutkovic as he headed in from a corner. Poor goalkeeping from Kiko Kasir here. Came out, failed to punch it clear, and just got caught in no man's land, really. I think it was trying to, said it was a foul on him, but poor goalkeeping, really.
I disagree, mate. I've got to say, I think he was fouled. I think it's Bellingham again, stands in front of Kasir, and as Kasir is about to get hands to it, jumps up into the back of him, with his back, and forces him off balance. He does do that. Bit soft, but I reckon that's a foul. But you're never going to get given that.
Yeah, well, you're either giving them or you don't.
What really annoyed me was we went down the other end, did exactly the same thing, blocked their keeper off, and their keeper got a foul for it, which really infuriated me watching the stream. Yeah, because we conceded a goal because of that stupid decision. Well,
as we've discussed many times on this podcast, the EFL officials are dreadful. So
Leeds corrupts.
But yeah, that's 2-2 on 61 minutes. 3-2 to Leeds on 69 minutes. An excellent strike from Luke Ayling here, right back. Luke Ayling, a fantastic touch, took him inside, took him to the edge of the box, and he just smashed it into the top left-hand corner off the post. It was brilliant.
The funniest thing about this one was that in another game in the Championship, Ashley Fletcher banged in a 40-yard volley, and Luke Ayling still won goal of the weekend because Leeds fans rigged the poll.
Yeah.
And on Sky Sports,
the presenter was confused. The presenter took to the poll, the 4 options, Luke Ayling, one of them, Ashley Fletcher, his goal for Middlesbrough, where Middlesbrough beat West Brom 2-0 away from home, which was really good.
Brilliant goal as well, much better than Luke Ayling's goal.
Fantastic goal. And when the Sky Sports presenter clicked onto the screen, going on the results, straight away he was like, oh yeah, there you go, Ashley Fletcher, 35%, he's winning. And it was like, oh no he isn't, Luke Ayling's winning. With 39% of the votes. Leeds fans just jumping on that,
abusing the poll once again, like we always do.
Always. But yeah, 3-2 to Leeds in 69 minutes. Fantastic goal from Luke Ayling. And then the final 10 minutes was just crazy. 3-3 on 83 minutes through Jermaine Bella.
This was a goalkeeping mistake.
Yeah.
There's no defending this. If he stays on his line, he saves this.
Yeah, absolutely. But then seconds later, Stuart Dallas made it 4-3 to Leeds. Luke Aylin's goal really this one, because he had the ball and just thought, nope,
sod this.
Sod this.
We're not losing this.
Sod this. We're not losing this. Let's go back in front. We were 2-0 up. Let's go back in front and
He ran about 30 yards.
Yeah.
Laid it off to Harrison
on the left hand side as well. He's a right back, and
Yeah.
on the left hand side he just
laid it off
ran
to
right
Harrison.
through.
Got it back. Found Stuart Dallas had about 5 yards of space in the middle of their box. I don't know why that was the case.
Yeah.
But it was
Really
just
good
in
finish
the
though, to be fair.
Yeah, and he pinged it top corner on his weak foot.
Weaker left foot, pinged it into the top right hand corner. Really good finish from Stuart Dallas, and that made it 4-3.
Dallas went absolutely mental in celebration.
He did, didn't he? And at that point, you're thinking, all right, job done. Let's just calm down now. We bring on Berardi to try and calm things down. 6 minutes of added time, which I was fuming.
I think he would keep
with at
Stroud
first.
refereeing it, thinking he was like, the big man
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was.
ruin the game by giving us 6 minutes, and then we made him look a right mug.
Yeah, I was absolutely fuming with the 6 minutes added time, and I was fuming when Birmingham made it 4-4, 91 minutes. Lucas Jutjevic again sliding in at the far post to equalise.
Alioski in the 91st minute in their final third of the pitch when he's playing at left back and we're winning 4-3.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of just brainless idiocy going on in this game.
Yeah, because everyone were just pushing
Everyone
so
should
far
have been.
forward.
4-3. Everyone should be in our half.
Yeah, we bring on Berardi and you think, oh yeah, let's show up the defence, but no, everyone's still bombing forward when we're 4-3 up away from home. Going into added time. But yeah, Birmingham equalised 1 minute into added time, 4-4. Lucas Jutjevic, if I can say that name right, scoring again to equalise again at the far post. But then 95 minutes, 1 minute before the end of added time, Leeds made it 5-4. Berardi, brilliant winning the ball back, really. Give all credit to Berardi for this goal, really. Did brilliant with the challenge and the pass to Helder Costa, who played through Luke Ayling in the box, who got to the byline and squared it.
Good bit of vision from Costa there to see Elland.
It was.
Because he was kind of getting closed down by two players. He just whipped it through.
Yeah, and Luke Ayling just thought, let's square this and see what happens. And what happened was Wes Harding, Birmingham's defender.
Brilliant finish to be
scored
fair.
an own goal. Yeah, it was a brilliant finish and an own goal.
Sometimes own goals, they kind of just like come off people's knees or arses or feet or just kind of a slight touch. He buried this.
Yeah.
If he was playing for us, he could have put a better finish in than that.
Well, the Square Ball on their podcast, they were saying that Wes Harding must have just thought, this game deserves a winner. This game deserves a last minute winner.
honest,
So let's just bang it in.
I don't think Harrison would have reached this if Wes Harding hadn't have got there. I think it probably would have gone too far in front of him.
Really?
Because if you saw it, Harrison only just gets to where Wes Harding is when the ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah, I thought Jack Harrison would have been there personally, but don't matter. Wes Harding scored an own goal, 5-4 to Leeds United. Mental game. Leeds ending the year and the decade off the most Leeds way ever. Positive signs with attacking wise, but really, a lot of negatives though, because the defending was so poor in this, and the fact that we were 2-0 up and just won the game, and the fact that we were 4-3 up going into added time, and we just, we didn't sit back and didn't start defending the lead. It was concerning, really. Was it concerning for you?
Their fourth goal really annoyed me. We tried so hard. Luke Ayling had got a worldie. Stuart Dallas and Luke Ayling had fought really hard to get us back in front, and we just threw it away with stupidity.
Yeah, and when that went
in, by pushing these 7 players upfield when we're winning in the 90th minute, which is just needless.
Yeah, when they made it 4-4, I was fuming, and I thought, all right, that's it, that's a point. And but thankfully we won, and we should have won because we were 2-0 up away from home. And if you're 2-0 up away from home, you should be winning the game.
If you've not seen
the
Sky Sports coverage of this, either the Soccer Saturday coverage, Google, type into YouTube because it's really funny.
Yeah, it is mental. It is mental. But yeah, 5-4 win to Leeds United. For the last game of the year and the decade, Leeds finished it off fantastically. And then on January 1st, 2020, New Year's Day, Leeds travelled to the Hawthorns to take on West Brom. And I really enjoyed watching this one, really. Good football from both sides, but of course West Brom, they did go 1-0 up inside the first 90 seconds through Semi Ajayi's header, which just crossed the line. Eddie Nketiah started, didn't play well, and went off at half-time for Patrick Bamford in what turned out to be Eddie Nketiah's final game for Leeds United before being recalled from his loan spell at Arsenal. We'll go into that a little bit later on.
His loaner spell,
mate, come on. Nketiah's loan spell. Of course, recalled from Arsenal. We'll go into that later on in the show. But Bamford, he changed the game really for Leeds United, didn't he?
he gave us a focal point. He was holding the ball up. He was getting people involved, getting people further up the pitch. And NkGhTg appeared to be just kind of getting. It wasn't the right game for NkGhTg because obviously they had Ajayi and they had Bartley on the pitch who were big lads and they're strong, and they didn't play a high enough line that Eddie could exploit his pace. They were deep enough that it didn't make a difference. That when Eddie did get on the ball, he got crowded out or could only win a corner or win a throw in. He couldn't really get in behind. So what we needed was a classic shithouse.
Yeah.
So and we had one on the bench who probably should have started really.
Yeah, probably.
And he came on and he immediately gave us a different dimension. He gave Ajayi and Bartley something in the air to worry about.
It changed the entire game, Bamford, who was fantastic. And it's quite nice as well because Eddie NkGhTg, of course, being recalled. If he had a really good game in this, I would have been fuming that he's gone back, but he was really poor, so I'm not too bothered.
But I don't like fans rewriting history, saying, NkGhTg was entirely bad for us. He was awful.
He scored some crucial goals.
Because he wasn't. He won us a lot of points.
Yeah.
I mean, he got that first goal at Barnsley away, which led us winning the game.
He equalised at Preston.
Opening goal that won us the game in Brentford when he came on in the 80th minute.
Yeah.
So he's got us. That's 5 points straight there, or 5 or 6 points straight there.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be worse off without him. So you got to give him some respect. He was a good player.
Yeah.
I think there's more arrogance on Arsenal's part than arrogance on Eddie's part for how much game time he should be having, because Eddie appeared fairly happy here.
Yeah, and you need to remember that he was out with injury for 4 weeks.
Just as he was going to get starting games.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to say it wasn't the right fit, but we got to thank Eddie for his contribution to the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll go into Eddie NkGhTg in a lot more detail later on in the show. But Bamford, as I say, came on at half-time, changed the entire game. It was 1-1 on 52 minutes. Bamford's header ricocheted off Ajayi's head and went in as an own goal, a 6th own goal for Leeds United, going in Leeds' favour this season. The highest amount of own goals Leeds have benefited from in a single season. The previous record of 5 own goals came in the 1960-61 season when we were in the old second division.
It's a good start, that.
Yeah, absolutely mental. Own goals is the second highest goal scorer for Leeds United this season.
How does the saying go? You make your own luck, and that's what we do. We make our own luck.
Yeah,
we put the ball in the positions, and we fire enough shots. Something's going to go with somebody, and it's going to go in the net.
Yeah,
we basically play football on the law of averages. The more we pepper a goal, the more someone's going to fly up someone's ass cheek, shoulder blade, face. Semi-Ajayi shoulder, something's going to go in.
Yeah.
And that's how we play. I mean, it's funny that we've nicked 4 points off West Bromwich Albion and not scored a single goal.
Yes,
that is a fact.
True. Yeah, that is very, very true. Own goal, the second highest goal scorer for Leeds this season.
4 points off a promotion rival with own goals.
I tell you, if Leeds United do a poll at the end of the season for player of the season, and one of the options is own goal, just for a laugh, own goal's going to win. Absolutely. Second highest goal scorer for Leeds this season is the own goal. So absolutely mental. But 1-1, good point for Leeds United, away at a tough place really. So really good points, and that of course kept Leeds United at the top of the Championship table on goal difference and 9 points clear of third place, where Brentford are third, Forest are fourth on the same point tally as Brentford. Really good point there away, and that brings us on to Leeds United's last game, which was on Monday night, the 6th of January. It was our FA Cup third round tie against Premier League side Arsenal away at the Emirates. Charles, you and I went.
With Chris.
Yeah, and my dad as well, who drove. Thank you very much to my dad for that.
Cheers, Graham.
And this was, forget the scoreline, this was quite a fun trip down for everyone, I think.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. I mean, it was such a long drive.
It was.
It didn't feel that long on the way back, but on the way down there, it was a long drive.
Yeah, it was a very tiring journey. It didn't feel long on the way back because I had a LUFC exam at 9:30 on the Tuesday morning, so we had to set off at 4 o'clock in the morning. So the roads were very, very quiet. Very tiring trip, but it was a fun trip though. Going down to London.
Yep.
I think all the Leeds fans enjoyed it. 8,000 Leeds United away fans travelled, including the 10,000 in the home end, including us.
The away fans. I know, obviously, we sometimes don't appreciate how good our away fans are because we're in the away end.
Yeah.
But we were sat in the upper tier in the North Bank, which is the opposite side of the ground from where the Leeds fans were, and they were phenomenal. Yeah, really good.
Because when you're amongst the crowd, when you're a Leeds fan, you're in amongst the Leeds fans. I don't think you notice how loud you actually are. But I've sat in the gantry a few times this season, and we're in the home end, the opposite side of the ground. And when you hear the Leeds fans, when you're not amongst them, and you hear the Leeds fans from afar, very, very loud, very, very loud. And the Leeds fans did us proud. I think the Arsenal fans. I think that the Arsenal fans around us, they seem when we're doing the Champions of Europe chant. A few Arsenal fans were recording that because we were wearing our scarves. It looked fantastic. And the Leeds United away end was brilliant. And I'm sure that there were probably a few thousand Leeds United fans in the home end as well.
Alan
of course,
Shearer
including
also
us
on BBC gave us a compliment to the Leeds United fans.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that. If you watched the coverage,
yeah, it was really nice because everyone was giving us compliments. Gary Lineker, BBC, Danny Murphy on BBC commentary. Everyone was giving us compliments. It was lovely.
Was so biased towards Leeds. it was unbelievable.
It was nice though because watching it back earlier today, recording this on Wednesday. I watched the first half back this afternoon, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it back. It was very, very good.
We were just sat in the stand thinking, what is going on here?
yeah, we were, weren't we? I mean, it was a fun trip, but I still don't agree with the game. I've said it before. I don't agree with the game being played at 7:56 p.m. on a Monday night. But yeah, still enjoyed it. The Emirates Stadium, fantastic stadium. Lacked atmosphere though.
Until they were winning.
Yeah, it lacked a lot of atmosphere. But the Emirates Stadium, very impressive stadium, very big, very posh. They've got escalators and lifts in the stand. They've got plenty of TV screens.
Plenty of scowling cockneys whenever they saw us in the home end. Literally.
You almost blew our cover.
Well, I did in the stand, but when we were walking towards the lift, when Chris was talking really loudly, and obviously our accents gave us away immediately because we were three Yorkshire lads, and obviously your dad's got Ed's dad's got a Scottish accent as well, so he was getting away with it a bit more. But us three were blatantly from Leeds or Yorkshire at least.
Yeah, we were getting some funny looks,
and they would give us some right funny looks in the lift.
But we weren't causing any trouble, so.
I was causing a bit of trouble in the stand.
You were. You almost blew our cover. A few people were getting annoyed around us.
I was shouting abuse at Guendouzi and getting really annoyed when we cocked up any chances we had.
So we had to be quiet. But the Emirates Stadium, very, very impressive, but it didn't lack atmosphere. If Leeds United ever had a ground like that, like the Emirates Stadium, would you be happy with it, or do you like Elland Road as it is?
No, I wouldn't want a stadium like that. Purely because you look at the likes of Arsenal, who used to have Highbury, which was 35,000, really good atmosphere. West Ham had Upton Park, now they're in the Olympic Stadium. Upton Park, obviously one of the most famous grounds in England for atmosphere.
Manchester City, Main Road, and now they're obviously in the Etihad. Etihad. And you see these grounds, these soulless bowls full of tourists, prawn sandwiches, clappers and plastics, and you think you do not represent the game. Yeah. You do not represent the working class sport that is football. You just don't. You're spending what, £1,000 a season ticket? I mean, it's not high as £1,000. It's maybe £1,000 for Arsenal. It's £700 for a scum season ticket, and you're sitting down in your seat, quiet with your kids next to you, abusing anyone who stands up. It's just. I would never want to be in a stadium like that. Yeah.
Elland Road,
I mean, it was nice while we were there. It was very luxurious. Yes, the seats were leather.
Beautiful stadium, really well built.
The seats were leather, which was really nice.
Stewards were all nice as well, even to away fans. But it was like someone had ripped the soul out of the club. Yeah. And as much as I'm going to play devil's advocate, Elland Road is a run-down shithole in places. Yeah, especially the West Stand,
and it does need many improvements.
And the Kop, it does need rebuilding. Essentially, the West Stand needs rebuilding. Yeah, and he's putting together better. But I would never want to move to any 70,000 seater stadium where
it looks like the Emirates, where it looks like the Emirates Stadium.
You need a pair of binoculars to see the other side of it. You can't hear anybody, and it's just awful.
Yeah, very impressive stadium, but I like Elland Road. I like our ground.
I like the fact that we have to walk under a motorway bypass to get there.
It's
I like the fact that there's pubs nearby, and you can buy magazines on the way down, and hot dogs, and that one geezer with the bagpipes that winds me up every time I walk past him.
I love it. It was nice. We were there, very luxurious, leather seats and everything, but very lacked atmosphere, and our ground Elland Road.
I know that guy with the bagpipes is collecting money before anyone has a go at me. I know, for good cause. I'm aware of that. But
it is quite annoying.
Sometimes I'm hungover. Bagpipes. drilling in my skull.
Yeah, it is quite annoying. But getting into the actual game then, so Marcelo Bielsa named all the changes that he was going to make in the press conference on the Saturday before the game. So Elland Meslier, he replaced Kiko Ksay in goal to make his first team debut. Berardi was in defence for Liam Cooper. Douglas played at left back while Alioski went on the wing, replacing Helder Costa. And Robbie Gotts replaced Stuart Dallas in midfield to make his debut as well, finally. So really pleased for Robbie Gotts. And Arsenal had a very strong team out as well. They had pretty much the first team out. Lacazette, Nicolas Pepe, Socrates, David Luiz, Guendouzi, Xhaka. They pretty much had their full first team, apart from the goalkeeper Martinez for Leno.
He actually had a fairly decent game, their goalkeeper.
Yeah, he did. But they actually had a very strong lineup. And when they first came out, we were reading it through. So Pepe, Lacazette, we were thinking we're going to get smashed there because they had a fantastic team out. But I think Leeds took everyone by surprise because we dominated that first half. It was absolutely incredible. Really, really surprising to see how good Leeds were away against a side like Arsenal, who were surprisingly very, very bad. Arsenal just couldn't cope with a press from Leeds United. They just couldn't cope with how good Leeds United were, really. And it did catch us by surprise, didn't it? Because you a few times in that first half turned to me and said, hold on, are we actually running Arsenal off the park here at the Emirates?
Because we were. We were... Because they never really... The only time they looked anywhere near like scoring that first half was when we lost the ball in a silly position.
Yeah, and Nicolas Pepe and Lacazette.
Because Pepe's rapid, like really rapid. Like Harry Sacco rapid. He ran half line of the pitch.
Well, Danny Murphy thinks he's Usain Bolt, doesn't he? Listening back to the first half.
Yeah, that bit when he pinged that...
Martinez pinged the ball over to Meslier. There were no Arsenal players in that half. But Danny Murphy on the commentary, BBC commentary, was just like, oh, Nicolas Pepe is fast. He could have got there.
I think Danny Murphy was probably just sticking that in there so he could appear moderately balanced, even though he was massively against Arsenal.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, that first half, it was just we were pressing really well, high up the pitch. We were Click was instrumental in that first half of stealing the ball off Guendouzi and Xhaka and... the one point in the first half, which I love, where I loved it watching at the time. I loved it even more watching it back on the replay, where Ben White just clatters Lacazette really hard, but it does win the ball, and all the Arsenal fans around us were all kicking off every time there was even a tiny chance that a foul should be given. They were moaning about it.
Yeah.
Every time one of our players challenged one of their players in the air for a header, foul apparently. But yeah, we ran off the park. We were passing in triangles. We were finding Bamford. There was the best bit of play in the game. And I'm including Arsenal in this, was that triangle, in their box just before Bamford hit the bar when we were pinging it round. And we just embarrassed them.
Yeah, we were absolutely fantastic. It really, really surprised me. Leeds dominated that first half, created many, many chances, getting a lot of joy down the wings, I felt. Jack Harrison did great on the right
Probably
wing.
Man of the match.
Yeah, did great on the right wing against Kolasinac, cut in onto his strong left foot many times. Leeds created many great chances and missed many great chances as well. Harrison had a few shots saved. Alioski shot just wide of the far post, and Bamford also hit the bar, as you say. So we just got unlucky and couldn't finish our chances, really, while we were on top. And as we've gotten used to, we paid the price in the end for missing all our good chances. It was a completely different game in the second half. You talk about a game of two halves, and this was the definition of it, because it was a completely different game in the second half, which I said would happen at half time. I was saying to you guys, it's going to be a completely different second half because it's half time. The managers get to speak to them, and the Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said that he wasn't happy with the players after the game, and the Arsenal players said that he shouted at them, which I knew that was going to happen. And in the second half, Arsenal came out, pressed really well, and Leeds just couldn't handle it, really. I think Leeds were caught by surprise as how good Arsenal were in the second half. And Arsenal pressed really high. Lacazette hit the bar from a free kick. Arsenal grew into the game. Speaking of Lacazette, though, he should have been sent off in that second half, midway through, when there was that brawl. He kicked Berardi, blatantly kicked Berardi, referee right in front of it. But VAR... There was VAR in this game, of course. And
check the incident
VAR
as well.
checked the incident for minutes and didn't even get it.
I mean, this is the first time I've seen VAR. I'm assuming you too have seen VAR.
I didn't enjoy it.
While I've been at a game, and it took about 2 minutes. It didn't tell us who they were checking.
You couldn't see the replays. It just said VAR in
checking
progress.
violent. It said VAR checking violent conduct. It didn't say who, there was a bit of handbags on the touchline, so I thought maybe it was one of our players, maybe it was one of theirs, but it didn't say which player or which team.
So we had to check Twitter to see
I
who it
checked
was.
Twitter and found it and read somewhere that it was Lacazette for kicking out. I was like, well, good, maybe we'll get sent off here. But
no card, and we saw it back afterwards, and he just kicks Berardi.
It's at minimum a yellow card, because even if you take it with a pinch of salt and say, all right, he just trips him. If you trip a player when they're not on the ball, that's a yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely. So
he should have been at least carded for that, and he wasn't.
Yeah, VAR I didn't enjoy VAR at all, really.
Speaking of people who should have been carded,
yeah, Granit Xhaka should have been booked at least. Pulled back many of our players by their shirt, and in the first half as well, slid down and tackled Patrick Bamford. How he did not get at least a yellow card to me is
Patrick
just
Bamford?
bizarre. No, Xhaka.
You just said Patrick Bamford.
No, Xhaka slid down
right.
Patrick Bamford, but how Xhaka didn't get at least a yellow card in this game?
I saw that back. That he doesn't touch him. Bamford does dive there, but,
but
in the other incidents, when there was one point where Click just nicks the ball off him, and he just grabs him by the back of the shirt and drags him.
And Xhaka did this many times, didn't get a yellow card. Early on in the second half, Click drags one of them back, and he just gets a yellow card, and that's his first foul.
Click does it to Xhaka. He absolutely bodies him, just leathers him over, and just. I mean, it was a yellow card for Click, but clearly,
But he did the same thing as Xhaka. You want consistency, don't you?
Yeah, so if he's not giving it for Xhaka and Click does that, and then Click doesn't get booked, then you think, all right, referee's a bit soft, but at least he's consistent. But it wasn't consistent. It was just poor.
The referee, Anthony Taylor, was awful. Very, very inconsistent. And, just did not enjoy the officiating of this game at all. VAR and the referee, Anthony Taylor, thought they were really, really poor. But back into the second half, Arsenal, as I say, won top. They went 1-0 up on 55 minutes through a very scrappy goal from Reece Nelson. Really scrappy, and it's a goal which you really hate to lose a game by, really. Really, really scrappy goal. But Arsenal dominated the second half and could have scored a lot more. Leeds could have also scored in the second half. Patrick Bamford had a really good shot save. Jack Harrison as well near the end. Had a decent opportunity, which he just kind of gave up, really. 1-0 to the Arsenal, as to say.
As they couldn't stop singing for the entire second half against the championship side with the reserves out, with people making their debuts.
Yeah, so 1-0 to the Arsenal at full time. A defeat, but a pleasing performance, really, from Leeds United.
We did ourselves proud, I reckon.
We did. The fans did us proud, and the lads did us proud, because we were fantastic in the first half.
Because even the away fans halfway through the game, halfway through the second half, were singing "We're Leeds and we're proud of it," and we should have been, because we turned up and we didn't look like a bunch of Sunday League lads that have been put out against the Premier League team. We look like like Bournemouth look like in the Premier League. We compete with some of the bigger lads. Maybe we don't get the results now every week, and maybe you get a couple of beatings now and again, but you compete. Yeah, and we did compete.
Yeah, well, many said it. If you were watching the game and you didn't know about any of the teams, and especially that first half, you would think that Leeds United were the Premier League team and Arsenal were the Championship team. I thought we were brilliant, and the Emirates, it's a hard place to go. Arsenal don't lose many games at the Emirates. It's a very tough place to go, and of course Arsenal had just beaten Man United at home a few days beforehand, and we've gone there and turned them over. Really, we matched them.
They underestimated us, and they didn't treat us with any respect. The first half.
They said that after Reece Nelson in his interview just said, Arteta told us about how good they were, and we just didn't listen. And Arsenal fans after the game, they were so happy. I would have been fuming if I was an Arsenal fan, because say a League One team, who I think Wycombe Wanderers are top of League One right now, if they came to Elland Road, dominated the game for 45 minutes, could have been 4-5-0 up at half time, but it was 0-0, and then we'd gone out, they were really on top for the first 20 minutes of the second half, and then it kind of evened itself out, I feel. But if we had just nicked a 1-0, a scrappy goal against the League One side, I would have been, I'd be happy that we got the win, but I'd also be fuming as well. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be fuming, because that first half, from Arsenal, and Arsenal point of view, was unacceptable from them. And, if you're listening to the interviews and the players are saying, Arteta told us how good they were and we didn't listen and we just took it easy, that's poor mentality from the players, and that's worrying signs there.
Arteta even said in his post-match, I knew all about them. They turn up and they batter teams every 3 days in the Championship. They're not to be taken lightly. And if you don't fight for every ball, if you don't fight for a 50-50, you will get done. You will get found out. Yeah. And Arsenal did get found out for 45 minutes. Yeah, and Arteta, basically said the players didn't listen to me, and I told them at half time, and it obviously gave him a right good bollocking at half time, and they came out the second half firing did Arsenal. But yeah, I'd think worrying signs if I was an Arsenal fan, really worrying signs there. Yes, Arteta's got a reaction, but if you're telling your lads before the game how good they are and then they just don't listen, yeah, it's worrying. It's worrying. It's poor mentality there. It shows poor mentality and a bit of arrogance on the part of Arsenal's players. Whereas, our players, if Bielsa says to our players before the game, this is how they're going to play, they're a good team. They're going to play well. Our players listen and they do their jobs.
Absolutely.
99% of the time. Sometimes the players just, go mad like the Birmingham game where they just think, sod this. Let's just play the most Sunday league game of football of all time.
But absolutely. But
for the most part, our players respect our manager. It doesn't seem like Arsenal players have as much respect for Arteta as they maybe should do. But they've had problems with previous managers. Like they didn't respect Emery. That Arsene Wenger wasn't getting the respect he deserved towards the end of his reign. You got to wonder if there's a bit of a culture going at the club.
Yeah. But back onto Leeds though. It was a defeat, but very pleasing performance. Leeds, Leeds fans did us proud. The Leeds players really did us proud, and I'm really, really happy that Leeds have showed how good they are to the whole world. Essentially, we're on BBC national TV, prime time. Arsenal versus Leeds on a Monday night. There would have been no other big game. Yeah, 6.15 million people I think watched on BBC, and also around the world. What other big game was there on Monday night? Nothing. So the whole world would have watched us, and Leeds have gone out there and showed how good we are against top 10 Premier League side. So I'm really, really happy. Big positives to take away from it. Elland Meslier, for one, 19-year-old goalkeeper, making his debut away at the Emirates against the Premier League side in Arsenal. And he did absolutely fantastic. Yes, conceded a goal, but he was brilliant.
Can't really do anything about the goal.
His decision making was fantastic. His shot stopping was fantastic, and his distribution, my word, it was incredible. Elland Meslier.
It was. His best pass of the game was when he found
Jack
Harrison just over the halfway line, probably about 8 yards over the halfway line. Just pinged the ball straight to his feet. It landed on his foot.
He made it look so easily, did Meslier. He was fantastic. Of course, on loan from French side, Efri Lumiere. But yeah, we do have the option for a permanent signing.
I think it's $6 million to sign him.
Yeah, and worth every penny. He was fantastic from the looks of it. For your first team debut, 19 years old, away at the Emirates against Arsenal, and that Arsenal side as well. That's their Premier League side. Yes, they made a few changes, but that's their Premier League side. That's a full strength team.
A lot of rival Championship fans were saying, "Oh yeah, you lost against Arsenal's reserves," but they want Arsenal's reserves.
Nicolas Pepe, £75 million. Lacazette, £50 million. They had their
Mesut Ozil. I think he was about 50 mil when he
from
first
Real
came.
Madrid as well. Xhaka, I think it was £30 million. They had a fantastic team. Did Arsenal?
Guendouzi was another 20.
Yeah, and we've gone and matched them. And Elland Meslier, fantastic. And if NkGhTg does get banned for racism, the league have come out, the FA have come out and said that they can't give a date on
Of course they can't. I found it convenient.
Yeah, but if NkGhTg does get banned, I'm fine with Meslier going in, and it'd be interesting to see who starts on Saturday because Elland Meslier was so impressive. I wouldn't blame Bielsa if he sticks Meslier in. I don't think he will, but I won't be surprised. I won't mind it if he does replace him.
He's a big lad as well as Meslier. 6'6".
Yeah, he looks like a 12-year-old child, but he's massive.
He's got the longest arms of any human I've ever seen.
I've said it many times. He could do the head, shoulders, knees and toes dance without bending over. Elland Meslier looked brilliant. And yes, a loss, but at least we don't have to go down all the way to bloody Bournemouth.
300,
which is a very,
300
very,
miles.
Very long trip. Because, of course, the FA Cup 4-4 draw happened before this game kicked off. And we knew that it was an away trip to Bournemouth. And, yeah, it would have been nice to get through, but, now it's less games, more focus on the league now, and we don't have to travel down to Bournemouth. So, the players can rest up a bit now. And, win or loss, but, very, very happy with that. And it was a good trip all round, really fun trip.
Yeah,
and of course we now move on to Sheffield Wednesday at home, which we will preview later on in the show. But first, moving on to the Leeds United under-23s, they picked up another PDL North win this week by beating Hull City 5-0 at Thorpe Arch last Sunday. Goals from Jack Jenkins, 2 goals from Ryan Emerson, Liam McCarron, and Alfred McCarman to help secure the win. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was just a really, really good performance.
Yeah, really good.
They're up to second in the table now, if I'm not mistaken.
After a poor start to the season.
Yeah, they had a bit of a shocking start, but then I think they won like 5 or 6 games on the bounce, and now they're right back up there again. The best goal of the game probably goes to McCalmont for that one where it's kind of a 1-2. Takes a touch off his right foot into the box, buries it bottom corner with his left foot. It's just a beautiful goal. I think it's the 4th goal of the game. But yeah, we just took them apart. We always go on about how good the under-23s are, but now at the weekend we got to see Meslier, we got to see Gotts, Jordan Stevens came on in a cup game. I mean, it's a bit shame.
Out of position as well.
Stevens?
Yeah.
He was playing on right wing.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it came out right back.
No, I think,
Came at right back momentarily, I think.
No, because Stuart Dallas moved back to right back and then he went
yes.
on the right wing.
Yes, that's correct. But yeah, really, really good from the U23s there. 5-0 win over Hull City last Sunday. Moved on to some news then, and we have to start with some really sad news that came out in December regarding Kev Holroyd, who was the man behind the mask. He was Lucas the Copcat. He died from cancer but passed away peacefully in hospital, but really sad news there. Hope his family and friends are doing really, really well. Rest in peace, Kevin Holroyd. On to more positive news then. After we recorded the last episode, it was announced that Mateusz Klich scored what was the goal of the month in November for his strike during that 4-0 win over Middlesbrough at Elland Road. A wonderful goal, fully deserved from Mateusz Klich. Fantastic strike that was.
Pearler of a goal.
Yeah, I can watch that goal over and over again. And also Luke Ayling, he has won the PFA Championship Player of the Month award for December. I would say well deserved, but I mean, he played well against Birmingham, didn't do well defensively, but scored that banger. But I don't know how he won this, but Luke Ayling, PFA Championship Player of the Month, congratulations. Well
done, Bill. I'm not really sure if you were the player, I would have picked out of our team for December, but I'd probably picked Helder Costa to be fair out of our team for December.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, he probably performed the best out of any of our players. But yeah, well done. I'm glad that we've rigged yet another poll in our favour. It's very funny to me whenever I check. We've just completely rigged polls.
Yeah, it is funny. Now, of course, with it being January, the transfer window is now open again for this
Jim
month.
White and his yellow tie ruining my TV screen once again.
For the next month. And at the start of the month, we saw 20-year-old striker Eddie Nketiah get recalled by Arsenal from his season-long loan spell at Leeds United. Thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I said a bit earlier, didn't I, about we should respect his contribution for the season. He clearly wants to start every week in a team. I've heard rumours that he's linked to Bristol City, but he's also and a couple of other Championship clubs. He's also linked to Germany. So if he was to go on loan to Germany, I think most Leeds fans would wish him well.
But if he went on loan to Bristol City and scored hat-trick against us at Elland Road, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, I would be a bit annoyed as well. But it is just football these days. Big clubs want to send their players on loan, Championship clubs, and they expect them to play every minute of every game, regardless of the fact that you've got to earn your place in teams.
Yeah.
And if you don't earn your place, or if you are not suited to the system, or whatever reason, or if you're injured now and again, which all those three things apply to Eddie Nketiah, he had to get used to the system, and he had to get used to doing a bit more pressing, because he is an out-and-out striker, but in the Bielsa system it requires, like Bamford constantly pressing out. There was bits in the Arsenal game where Bamford was almost at right back closing people down. It's just how the system works, and that's how you've got to do it. And Nketiah wasn't all. Sometimes he did stuff like that, but not always. But yeah.
You got to thank him for the goals, though, because he did score some crucial goals.
I am a little bit concerned at the trouble we may now have getting another backup striker in.
Yeah.
Because what we're going to say to them, do you like sitting on the bench in Leeds?
Yeah, exactly. That was the worry, because yes, Eddie Nketiah, he's not suited to the system, and I don't think he'll be a massive loss to the squad, but the fact that he's not there anymore and we need to go out and get a replacement for him is the worrying part, because we're not going to. It's going to be hard to convince someone to come, a good striker to come to Leeds and say, oh yeah, you're going to be sitting on our bench until you work your way into the side. So that's going to be really, really hard. But Eddie Nketiah recalled. We thank him for all the goals and everything that he did. He seemed to like the Leeds fans as much as the Leeds fans liked him, really. So sad to see him go, but we move on. And Leeds United are looking at replacements. Phil Hay of The Athletic have said that Leeds' top target this month to replace Nketiah is Southampton's Che Adams, who could come in on loan. Of course, arrived at Southampton last summer after a brilliant season for Birmingham City last year, scoring 22 goals and getting 4 assists in 44 games. But he hasn't hit the ground running this season, scored 0 goals in 15 Premier League games. Would you take Che Adams?
A lot of those 15 Premier League games have kind of been cameo appearances or not huge amount of minutes, but he doesn't appear to be suited to life in the Premier League. You've got to think we need a striker to get us up. We've also got to sign a striker that would still suit the Premier League, and he's clearly not cut out for the Premier League. But it depends.
On loan, he'd get us up though, because he did fantastic at Birmingham City last season. As I say, 22 goals and 4 assists in 44 games. It's brilliant.
But is he starting over Bamford? That's the thing. You've always got to bring it back to that.
But we need the option though, and Che Adams would be a fantastic option.
He's a fantastic signing for the Championship, but whether or not he'd come, maybe not get if he's not getting any game time for Southampton, and we can't guarantee him game time at Leeds.
Then what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
He could go back to Birmingham City.
Yeah, so you've got to wonder about that. Apparently we're about to talk about Collie Woodrow, aren't we? Apparently that is not a strong link. That's according to the YEP, that's not hugely backed up by evidence. I think Che Adams is obviously the main target. I think it would be a good signing, but I worry about the short-termism of that signing. I know it's only a loan deal, but if we were to go out and buy him, then we would be in a bit of a tough position next year.
I don't think we would buy him. I think a loan for Che Adams would be fantastic. I don't really want to buy Che Adams personally, but I think loaning him out for this season, just to have him there and have him as a really good option, because he would be a really good option off the bench. I think that would be good, and if we can convince him to come to Leeds on loan, I think that would be a really, really good signing. And Phil Hay, of course, the trustworthy Phil Hay says that is a strong link, and Leeds seem to have him as their top target. As we said, though, Leeds are also looking at Barnsley's 25-year-old striker Collie Woodrow. We don't know how reliable this is, but Collie Woodrow has already scored 9 championship goals this season. I think he'd be good. I think he wouldn't mind being a backup striker.
He'd probably more be up for being on our bench. Because obviously he's at Barnsley, he's kind of been a relegation scrap, and if we say to him, all right, just sit on our bench, you'll get a few minutes here and there, score a couple of goals, we'll go up, and then you'll be playing in the Premier League now and again, maybe playing a few cup games, a few cameo appearances up there. He'll probably turn around and say, yep, sure, but as I've just said, I don't think the link is that strong between Collie Woodrow, and he's also injured at the moment. He's got a hamstring injury. Yeah.
So would Che Adams out of those two be your ideal?
I'd prefer Che Adams out of those two.
Yeah, and I'd rather prefer someone on loan really for the rest of the season than someone permanently, because if we sign someone and they're not quite cut out for the Premier League, then we've got them on our books. Whereas if we sign someone on loan and they don't do too well, then they're not on our books. If they do really well, we could always sign them in. When we go up with the Premier League money that we'll have. So yeah, a loan option would be good, and Che Adams I think would be a fantastic loan signing. Of course, 19-year-old winger Jack Clarke, he's been recalled to Tottenham Hotspur, which is really weird for me to say because, of course, he was a Leeds youngster last season. Sold him Tottenham Hotspur last summer for £10 million. Absolutely robbed Tottenham Hotspur there. Jack Clarke been recalled there as expected, as he hasn't really got into the Leeds side again this year.
I can't believe Spurs could have signed Jarrod Bowen and they signed Jack Clarke instead.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't
Bunch
it?
Bunch of idiots.
Yeah. But he hasn't got into the Leeds team again this year, Jack Clarke, so he's been recalled to Tottenham Hotspur, which I think we were all expecting. Leeds reportedly looking at Sheffield United's Luke Freeman, 27-year-old Luke Freeman, who has scored 8 goals and got 6 assists in 44 games for QPR last season, but has only made 9 appearances for Sheffield United this season. Luke Freeman, do you think he'd be a good signing for Leeds?
Yeah, I do. I think he'd be the best out of those 3 for us.
Do you think?
I do. He was just superb for QPR when we played him last year. He won the game on his own pretty much away at Loftus Road.
That 1-0 loss, he made Bielsa cry in the tunnel.
He did. He made him fuming, and which kind of annoys me a bit. But we'll put that aside, Luke. If you're going to get us up, all is forgiven.
Yep.
But he's a really good player. He's a really good. He plays on the wing, like attacking midfield. He could be that number 10 we miss when Pablo's injured or off form, or that bit more creativity that will really get us up. Yeah. And obviously, hopefully at some point, so the technology will exist where we can resurrect Adam Forshaw. Jamie Shackleton will be back fit soon. He playing the under-23s, getting a few minutes. So we might, and Tyler Roberts is coming back in, so we might get a bit more cover in the midfield. But he is a really good player, and he's got a great. In fact, both his feet. He's good on both feet, and he's really good crossing the ball into the box. So he could be. Yeah. Oftentimes when we get in good crossing positions, the final ball is a bit wayward. He could be the answer to that, and Bamford could be picking up some more goals. So I actually think we need a number 10 more than we actually need a striker.
Yeah, I'd agree. And Luke Freeman, he's a very good, versatile forward, very experienced as well. Of course, 27 years old. So yeah, I think it would be fantastic. Definitely a massive upgrade on Jack Clarke if he's to replace Jack Clarke.
I think we're all right for wingers, to be fair.
We are.
I know Bielsa always wants more wingers. What we actually need is a centre mid.
Yeah, and a striker.
A proper out-and-out centre mid and a striker.
Yeah. But yeah, Luke Freeman, he would be a fantastic option. And if we get to sign him, that'd be great. Of course, fantastic for QPR last season. Hasn't quite worked out for him at Sheffield United this season. but he would be a good, fantastic signing in the Championship this month anyway. And fresh reports are saying that Leeds United are looking at Sheffield Wednesday's midfielder Barry Bannon, of course 30 years old. I think he had a spell at Leeds United in our first season back in the Championship on loan. But Barry Bannon, would you take him?
It reminds me, we were linked to Gary Hooper for about what felt like 10 years. Like every transfer window, we were linked with Gary Hooper, and we never signed him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much in this link. I think it's just because he's a good centre mid in the Championship, and I think it's paper talk. Would I take him? I don't rate him that much. He's had a couple of good games against us, but he's had a couple of woeful games against us. He's just on his day, he's quite good.
Yeah.
But I've never been wowed by him. There's very few players that have actually genuinely wowed me who've played against Leeds.
Yeah.
Eberechi Eze wowed me, to be fair. He really did. He was really good.
Yeah.
But I would never been that hugely impressed by Barry Bannon. But he is a proper centre mid. He's a decent player for the Championship. Very, very experienced.
Yeah. I
think as a squad player, he'd be very useful.
Yeah, I like Barry Bannon. I think he'd be good. And I think that he would be the perfect replacement for Adam Forshaw. And we really do need a replacement for Adam Forshaw, don't we? Because he still hasn't returned. He's been out for 4 months now. The first game he missed was that Barnsley away game, and before then it was just talk of, he needs a fitness test, see if he's match fit. But he's been out for 4 months now, and he just doesn't like he's ever going to get fit. Bielsa's saying that he just can't get himself 100% match fit, and they're looking like he may need surgery on his hips. So
I think it's ludicrous that we haven't already had him get surgery. I think we've just been trying to edge him along. He'll be all right. He'll get back naturally, but like 4 months.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Get the man in surgery.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Fix the problem in his hip,
yeah,
and he'll be back. With surgery, he might be out.
I said on the drive up here, if he gets surgery or whatever, he just can't get himself fit. I don't think he'll play for Leeds United again this season because he just can't seem to just get himself fit, match fit, and
so disappointing because I've never been an Unfortunate hugest fan because I think a lot of what he does is give the ball back where it comes from as soon as he gets it.
But at the start of the season, he was fantastic when he was playing, and I feel as though we do miss him.
He's a bit of a metronome of a player. Reminds me of sort of a Championship version of John Henderson. He kind of just sees things over in midfield.
He's a very good option to have.
Adds a bit of stability, but he's never really the centre of most attacks going forward. But we do miss his stability when he's not there.
He's a good option to have, and we do need to replace him, don't we? Cause,
we do. We need a replacement for him far more than we need a winger.
Yeah, because he's always injured.
Jack Harrison and Helder Costa are on fire. We do not need another winger.
Yeah, because Adam Forshaw is always injured. You do need to replace him, and I think Barry Bannon would be a perfect replacement for him, really. And Luke Freeman, he could be a good replacement as well. A player has returned, though, to Leeds United. That's 27-year-old left-back Lawrence Bock, who's loan at League One side Sunderland has ended, but he won't play for Leeds, though. He's wanting to return to Belgium. So, Lawrence Bock on Leeds United's books again, but he's seeking a move out to Belgium, his home country, of course.
The last of the Christiansen era shite. Him and Usain Boy and
Kane
and J. Roy Grott. They're all just waiting to be shifted. I think Kane's back fit now, so he might go in the January transfer window. Yeah.
But those are all the rumours. Let's discuss. Who do we need to sign this month, do you think?
What, specifically, or positions?
Yeah, what kind of players do we need to sign?
We need a proper centre mid. But I would also say I would take Freeman because I think he's creative enough and he can play the centre mid role. We need another probably a backup striker if we can get one. And
do we need a goalkeeper?
I don't personally think we do, because I think even if Casilla gets done, and to be honest, I think if they had enough evidence on Casilla, he probably would have been done by now.
Yeah.
The fact they won't comment on when the date is, they won't push the trial up, they won't have it in any time soon. It seems like there isn't really much in it. Otherwise, because if it was overwhelming, the evidence, and he'd clearly done something racist or said something racist, then he would be done by now and he'd be fined and he'd be banned for 8 to 12 games, whatever it's going to be. But I think Messi has proved he's capable of stepping up.
He has.
And I think we are better off spending our money in other ways. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'd agree with you. We need a backup striker. I think that we need a proper number 10, a proper midfielder to go alongside Click, because there just seems to be a big hole there. We do have plenty of options, but they seem to always be getting injured. Shackleton keeps on getting injured. Tyler Roberts keeps on getting injured. Adam Forshaw's injured. So, I feel as though there's that hole there next to Click in midfield, which kind of needs replacing. Of course, Pablo Hernandez He's out injured as well, and he's 34 years old, but we can't really rely on him anymore. So I don't think we need any more wingers. I feel as though a backup striker, because Bamford is the only recognised senior striker at the club, which is just ridiculous. And I don't think Edmondson is ever going to get into the Leeds United squad. So
shame, really.
Yeah.
Really good player. He's going to be a really good player for somebody, Ryan Edmondson.
Yeah, he is. We need a backup striker. We need that midfielder, and I also think that we could do with another centre back. Really, just one more centre back. I may be pushing it there.
Yeah, I mean, Bielsa won't sign another one because he sees Berardi as a centre half, and he's got, obviously he sees Elland can play there, and he's got Cooper and he's got White, and they've been fairly consistent this season. I mean, they've had a bit of a strange few weeks, but fairly consistent all season. So I can't see him signing a centre half.
Yeah, I can't either. But I don't think we need a goalkeeper, but I think the main one is a backup striker. We need another striker at the club. And yeah, it could be an exciting month for Leeds United. A big month coming up for Leeds United and the future of the football club. We need to take advantage of this great position that we're in and not bottle promotion.
Because in transfer windows in the past, we've really let ourselves down. We let ourselves down in
last year.
Well, last year, the Monk transfer window where we signed Buddy Pedraza and what was his name? That Mo Barrow went to Reading and then scored against us, and not bad.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Who else? I think the Simon Grace when we first came up in 2010, 2011, wasn't it? That season when
Ken Bates just refused to sign people.
We desperately needed a centre half, and pick up a couple of defenders in the January transfer window, and we would have walked the league because we were like second at Christmas or something like that.
Ken Bates just refused.
And then we finished seventh. It's, I mean, how many cautionary tales do we need?
Yeah, exactly. How many messages do you need to say?
I'm not saying we don't. I know that
this.
obviously the January window is very much a seller's market. The people, because the clubs always are desperate to find players that will fit their system and benefit them immediately. So the clubs that are selling players can go, right, well, you can have him, but we're adding an extra couple of mil on his price tag.
Yeah.
And it's normally players that aren't playing or haven't played already this season that are kind of out of form or injured or whatever. So it's a massive gamble as a January transfer window most of the time.
Yeah, it's a hard window to do business in. But
it's crucial. We need to do some business.
It's crucial now. You'd hope that the board have learnt from last season and Jerry Vavazani's learnt from last season.
It seems from the noises we're getting from the media and the YP and Phil A and Graham Smith, it seems like there's going to be
a bit of movement.
Probably 2 signings.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of movement for Leeds United. But as I say, big month for Leeds United and future of the club. We need to take advantage of this great position that we're in right now. Let's look ahead to Leeds United's next game now. Leeds United returning to Championship action this Saturday, taking on Gary Monk's Sheffield Wednesday at Elland Road. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, which is a rare occurrence when we come up against Sheffield Wednesday. The last time we played them at Saturday, 3 p.m. Was in the 2017-18 season, while under Paul Heckingbottom at Elland Road. We lost 2-1 on what was a really grim day. I took 2 pictures of this, and the first picture, bright sunshine. The second picture, heavy snowfall. It was a really weird day.
All I remember about this game is it being really, really snowy.
J-Boy Grott scored. J-Boy Grott scored for Leeds United. But the sight of Matthew Pennington falling into 3 inches of snow and leading them to their winner will haunt me forever. That was awful.
I mean, I can't say what the Leeds fans were singing in the South Stand because it's. They were singing. Actually, I'll just do it. They were in the South Stand singing, "Well, Leeds United, we can't see F all."
Yeah. Oh no, we couldn't see anything. We could not see anything at all in that game because of the snow. But yeah, the sight of Matthew Pennington falling over in that snow and them scoring their winner will haunt me forever because that was an awful day, grim day that was. But yeah, that happened the last time we faced him on Saturday 3 p.m. at Elland Road, a 2-1 loss there. But this season though, we have of course played them already. We played Sheffield Wednesday already. We drew 0-0 away at Hillsborough back in October. Last season we also drew at Hillsborough, drew 1-1 then and then beaten 1-0 at Elland Road. Can you see us winning this one?
Gary Monk, though, isn't it?
Gary Monk, the only manager last season to do the double over Marcelo Bielsa.
Because he just plays that horrible deep 4-4-2. I mean, Nuhu and I think Fletcher might be injured for this game, which is good news, Ashley Fletcher. But they'll just launch balls up to Nuhu, who'll nod it down to Bannon, and they'll just play football like that and be horrible.
Yeah,
we're going to get counter-attacked. It's going to be trying to pass through their deep, compact lines. It's going to be held across to getting constantly fouled and no one getting carded. I'm saying all this, and I guarantee you watch this game at the weekend, me and you are going to it. It will be every single one of them things.
Yeah, it's going to be a horrible game to watch. It'll be interesting because fantastic game against Arsenal. It'll be interesting to see how we're doing for Championship.
Arsenal
now.
come out and played. They won't come out and play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It'll be a grind.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a horrible game to watch. It's going to be so different. From
I was so happy
game.
though last season when we played Wednesday at home and Harrison just side-footed that ball past Westwood.
That was brilliant.
And then we thought it was impossible that we could cock that up from that situation.
Let's not remind ourselves of that nightmare last season. But yeah, it's going to be a horrible game, this one. It's going to be scrappy. Sheffield Wednesday, they did well in their last game. They beat Brighton 1-0. Of course, Premier League side Brighton 1-0. Away in the FA Cup third round at the weekend, but they have lost their last 3 league games. They lost 3-2 away at Stoke. They lost 2-1 at home to Cardiff and then lost 1-0 at home to Hull City. But they are 8th in the Championship table on 39 points, 2 points off the playoff places, but they do have that points deduction over their heads after breaching EFL's FFP rules, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But they do have some good players, as we've said. You know, Nui, who is a really big forward. Actually, Stephen Fletcher rather. Barry Bannon, Kevin Westwood, the goalkeeper, who always has a blinder against Leeds United.
He really does.
So yeah, they do have some good players, and it will be a very, very
Tom Leeds as well, ex-Leeds.
Yeah, it will be a very, very tough game. WhoScored.com said that they are very strong at creating scoring chances. They're strong at attacking down the wings, strong at attacking set pieces, and strong at aerial duels.
Duels is new, you.
Yeah, but they are weak at avoiding offsides. They're weak at defending against through ball attacks, and they are very weak at avoiding fouling in dangerous areas. So we could have a few penalties.
I just remembered that buddy Reach plays for them as well, don't they?
Yeah, he's got it world against
the Championship King of Thunder bastards, Adam Reach. Can't score unless he's 40 yards from goal.
Yeah. But we could get a few penalties because WhoScored.com said that Sheffield Wednesday are very weak at avoiding fouling in dangerous areas.
Yeah, but we don't take advantage of any fouls in dangerous areas.
Sheffield Wednesday's style of play, they control the game of the opposition's half. They attack through the middle. They use long balls a lot. They attempt crosses often to take a lot of shots, and they are aggressive as well.
Crosses, we're going to have to clamp down on their crosses because we are weak on defending crosses.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough game. But Leeds United, of course, unbeaten in the last 3 league games, 2 draws and 1 win. Important to get another win this and lift the mood really, because you know that festive period, it was all right, it wasn't great, so I think get a win here is crucial, and it's a very, very winnable game as well. We need to take advantage of this because the teams around us have very winnable games. West Brom are away at Charlton, who have just fallen off the boil completely. I think they're 19th in the league at Charlton now, so West Brom away at Charlton on Saturday 3 o'clock. They could win that one probably. Let's have a look. Fulham are away at Hull City.
So Charlton have already taken points off West Brom this season, though. I know Barnsley have. I think Charlton might have done as well.
Yeah,
but Charlton beat us down at their place.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Fulham there away at Hull City, so they could probably win that one. Brentford there at home to QPR on Saturday, 12:30 p.m.
West London derby.
So yeah, we'll be able to watch that one before the Leeds United game because that's 12:30 p.m. kickoff.
That's a derby game, so they might be in trouble there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting though. You'd expect Brentford to beat QPR, although QPR in the past few games, they beat Cardiff 6-1 at home, and then they beat Swansea City 5-0 at home in the FA Cup. That's their past 2 games at home.
I mean, obviously FA Cup is reserve sides, but yeah. Still impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what 11-2 on aggregate against Wales, QPR.
Yeah, it's mental. So, it'll be interesting that one. You'd expect Brentford to win that one, but hopefully QPR can hold them there. But yeah, we need to take advantage. This is a very winnable game. We need a win, really, just to lift the mood a bit. Leeds, of course, unbeaten in the last 3 games against Sheffield Wednesday. 2 draws and 1 win there. Will we win this one? What's your score prediction for Saturday's game?
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds United. I'm going to go 2-0 to Leeds United. I reckon we'll keep a clean sheet. I reckon Elland Meslier will start and he'll keep a clean sheet.
He will start.
No, he won't, will he? But I reckon we could keep a clean sheet, and I reckon we'll win this one 2-0. I'm going to go for a comfortable, easy 2-0 victory at home of Sheffield Wednesday.
Redirect your abuse to @Ed_McIntyre98 once he's proved unbelievably wrong after the end of this game.
Please don't. But yeah, Leeds United, hopefully we win this Saturday. But that does bring us to the end of episode 49 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me in the studio.
No worries, mate. Have me on.
Thank you very much to everyone who has watched or listened. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, why not subscribe or follow the podcast? Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Share it around as well. Make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Search for All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search for All Things Leeds on Facebook. Keep up to date with everything that is going on. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you have not already. Search All Things Leeds on there. Also follow Charles on his brand new Twitter account.
It's at cynical_Leeds.
It's Cynical Leeds. Yeah.
Cynical Leeds. I chose that because of, the obviously, back in the day when all the cynical fouls and we got called Cynical Leeds in every newspaper going. So, and plus we still get called Cynical Leeds now.
Yeah, you can also search Charles Foster as well, and it should come up there as well.
Yeah, that's just my name.
But yeah, make sure to follow us all. Keep up to date with everything. Me and Charles, we will be back next week. But for now, take care, and we'll speak to you soon.